Today we are going to talk about Music Theory Skill Builder. Music Theory Skill Builder was developed by Leigh VanHandel of Michigan State University. And she had a couple goals when she approached this program. One of them was she wanted to provide a large number of exercises for her students to drill on in music theory. What existed at the time and what largely exists now are static sets of exercises where there may be 10 quizzes on a certain fundamental. There may be one, but they are static. Once the student takes the quiz, they can't take it again without getting the same question. So she wanted a way to deliver a diverse, changing set of questions so a student can truly drill until they master it and are succeeding every time they take a new quiz. Her other goal was to be able to observe that happening. She wanted the student scores on those individual quiz attempts to be reporting to a gradebook of some kind so she could see how they were doing. She could watch them get better, and if they were struggling, she could see that as well and jump in and help out. So to that end, Music Theory Skill Builder was born. It offers a virtually unlimited number of exercises that help students drill at the fundamentals and allows you as instructors to monitor that and participate in that process. Now, the screen I'm on right now is the homepage of Music Theory Skill Builder. You reach it by going to www.oup.com/us/mtsb. I just typed that down into the chat pane if you want to copy and grab it. The reason this page is important is, one, it contains your login link to Music Theory Skill Builder. This will take you to log into the program. Two, it has this activator purchase link up here. This is where your students will go once they have access codes or if they want to buy standalone access. They'll click this link to do that. Three, we have our video tour down here. After the webinar, if you want a refresher or if you want to tell one of your colleagues about Music Theory Skill Builder, this video tour is a great short way to get an overview of the functionality and really tells the message of the program. I'm going to go ahead and start by logging into Music Theory Skill Builder. To do that, I click this link up here. It takes me to my login page, which looks like this. I'm already logged in. That's why that went directly into the program. Once you log in, you'll be presented with a list of your courses. I have a whole bunch of them, because I'm an administrator. But basically, you would see one of these courses for each of your sections. So this allows you to go into the specific section you're looking for. Once I go into one of those, I am brought to a screen that looks like this. And this is Music Theory Skill Builder. I should call out right now, and to do this I'm going to go back to my home page, that Music Theory Skill Builder comes in a number of what I call flavors. There are two book-specific flavors, the Music Theory Skill Builder to go along with Philip Lambert's Principles of Music, as well as the book-specific version to go along with Gina Root's Applied Music Fundamentals. The third flavor of Music Theory Skill Builder is book-independent. That is, it is not designed to go with any specific music textbook. It could go with any of them, or it could even stand alone if you just needed some drilling practice for your students. Now, when I say that these different flavors are specific to a book or non-specific to a book, what I mean is that the exercises, that is the quizzes, the sets of exercises within the program, have been designed by those books' authors, or in the case of the book independent version by Leigh VanHandel herself, to line up with a specific progression that either matches the book or matches a course structure. So I'm going to go ahead and run down through this. This will all become clear as I go along. If you do have any questions or would like clarification as I go, do feel free to ask. Within your Music Theory Skill Builder course, there is a number of quizzes that test different areas of music theory fundamentals. There are 6 modules that I'll scroll down through here. There's the notes on a staff, rhythm and meter, scales, intervals, key signatures, and finally chords. And within each of those modules, there's different types of questions that really get at the different aspects of those different fundamentals. Now, I will go ahead and I'm going to launch one of these to show you what one of the exercises looks like. When I launch this Identify Pitches exercise, what happens is the program goes out to a database and grabs a number of suitable questions that meet the criteria of the quiz. So when I go ahead and begin this assessment, I am getting a different set of questions from my classmates and from the different set of questions from what I might have taken previously in this quiz. So as I click through here, I put in my responses. Let me go ahead and skip through because I'm definitely not going to get them right. At the end, I get my results. So as you can see, I got 0% right, but the program does deliver to me the correct answers. So I can see what I answered, G natural 3. I should have done E sharp 3. So all through, I can see what I should have done as well as what I did. So I can learn from my mistakes, and then as a student, I can go on back, launch this again, and I will get a completely different set of exercises. So now that I've seen where I was missing questions, I can go through and hopefully get a better score. I'm unlikely to because I don't know music theory fundamentals. But that would, so as a student, I can continue drilling until I started to see higher percents and ultimately until I got that 100% mastery, which I would then try to repeat until I really knew I understood how to get the right answer no matter what the question was. I'm going to go ahead and launch into another one of these just to show you a different module. In this set of questions, we're going to be inserting bar lines where they go in a measure. This is in our rhythm and meter module. So again, to give you an idea, they're not all just kind of multiple select. In some, you insert bar lines. In others, you put rests where they go. So here you can see where I should have put the bar lines as well as where I did. So we really have a robust set of questions that get at these different fundamentals in a number of engaging ways. Now, several times so far, I have used the word configured or set up in the context of, for example, Gina Root configured her course to match the Applied Music Fundamentals textbook. I'm about to show you what I mean by configured. You as instructors have the ability to create your own sets of these questions within Music Theory Skill Builder. So if you want to really target a certain topic, certain concept, you can create a quiz to do that. And you do that by clicking this Add or Modify Assessments link that will be in your course. It's in all instructor courses. The reason it's grayed out is that students cannot see it. Once you go in there, you get into this list of assessments that you've created. I have a bunch from the demos. You click the New button, and we go ahead and give our assessment a name. As you see, I favor calling it Test with a various number of T's. Your next step is to pick the module you're going to be asking questions about. So I'm going to go ahead and choose Notes on the Staff because these will look familiar since we saw the exercise. You next have the option of choosing Quiz or Mastery. What we've been looking at so far and talking about so far is mastery type assessment. A mastery assessment will let the student take that exercise as many times as they want to until they've achieved mastery, and you are able to set that mastery percent. So if you were just looking for 80%, you could set that. A quiz, on the other hand, will only give the student one shot. This might be useful if at the beginning of a semester, say, you were just trying to take the temperature. You didn't want a student to have a number of attempts. You wanted to see in one go how much they understood. A quiz type would be great for that. Finally, you can give a time limit. If you want to see how they do under pressure, you can set various time limits on the assessment, whether it's mastery or quiz. On the next screen, we are delivered options for the various types of questions we could be answering. So in this case, we were doing, in the module I showed, identifying pitch. So to recreate that quiz, we would set 8 questions, I think it was, and I believe I saw both treble and bass clefs, and I think there were accidentals. So that would create that quiz. If we also wanted the student to notate some pitches, we could add in some questions there. If we didn't want to focus on accidentals, we could take those out. Or if we were just focusing on the treble clef, we could just check the treble clef. So as you can see, there's a lot of ways to really focus in on something that you want to test here. And when I say configured, I mean that the various authors of these flavors of Music Theory Skill Builder have created quizzes that focus in on topics to match the progression of their individual textbooks, or in the case of the book Independent, to match a progression of a music theory course identified by Leigh VanHandel, the program's creator. Well, as you recall, the other goal of Music Theory Skill Builder, besides allowing students to drill and achieve mastery, is to allow you as instructors to observe the student progress and see how they're performing. You do that with your gradebook. Now, in your course, you are going to have a link just like this, the grades with the little box here. You will have far fewer links than I do. I'm an admin, but you will have one that looks just like this. By clicking that, you are taken into your course gradebook, where you can see students' scores on the individual exercises. Now, what I see here in the gradebook, we're going to go ahead and look at this row, are the students' top scores. So these are the best scores the student has achieved no matter how many times they have taken a particular assessment. If I want to see how many times they've taken the assessment, as well as observe their less successful attempts, what I do is click this little magnifying glass, and then I'm delivered all the attempts of my students, and I can see how the student performs. So in this case, we saw 25% in the gradebook, but we can also see that this student tried once before that and got a 0. So we can view some improvement there. You can also see our sales reps do not know music theory fundamentals any better than I do. If we go back out to our gradebook, we can look at another one of these just to give you an idea here. So in this case, we saw our 87.5, but we can see that the student tried another time before that and got a 37.5. So again, a big area of improvement there, and it only took 4 months. So as you can see, it's a clean view of how your students are doing, and it really allows you to dig into the individual grades and the individual attempts and get an idea of where your students are succeeding, how many times it's taking them to succeed, and where they might be struggling to get to that mastery percentage. Does anyone have any questions about the gradebook? Okay, well at this point I am going to take a giant step out of the platform back to our home page and talk a little bit about how your students and how you get access to Music Theory Skill Builder. There are 2 ways for a student to get access to Music Theory Skill Builder. The first way is with an access code card. Now, an access code card is a physical cardstock card. It can be packaged with an OUP textbook, or it can be sold standalone. And on that card is an access code. When a student gets that, they visit www.oup.com/us/MTSB, and they click this link right up here to activate or purchase their account. On the next screen, they choose their version of Music Theory Skill Builder, whether it's the book Independent here or one of the book-specific versions. On the next screen, they will choose their institution, and then their instructor, which would be you, and finally their section. On the last screen, they'll input their personal information to create their account, as well as that access code. And when they submit that, they are automatically created as a user in your class. They're enrolled in your course. They appear in your gradebook. And as long as your course start date has passed, they are able to go in there and immediately start taking these assessments. The other way that a student would get access to Music Theory Skill Builder is without an access code card, using their credit card. They would follow that exact same process of visiting www.oup.com/us/MTSB. They'd click that activate or purchase your account button, and they'd end up here. They'd choose their book, institution, instructor section, and then instead of inputting their access code, they would just put in credit card information to purchase the access directly. In that case, just like the first, they're immediately enrolled in Music Theory Skill Builder. They're immediately a student in your course. You can see them in the gradebook, and they can start taking exercises as long as that course start date has passed. Since you do, as an instructor, have the ability to move items around, to hide certain items, and to create your own quizzes, we basically keep the course locked down until the start date that you identify so that you have a chance to make any adjustments before your students get in there. As far as pricing goes, Music Theory Skill Builder is $10 in a package with an OUP textbook, or it is $39.95 standalone. If you are using an OUP textbook, it does not have to be the Root or the Lambert books. It can be any OUP music textbook. You can package Music Theory Skill Builder for only $10. So does anyone have any questions about that? The last thing I will mention then is that Music Theory Skill Builder does have phone help as well as email help, as well as online help documentation. So we've really tried to provide resources so you as an instructor do not have to be the administrator of this course. Your students are automatically enrolled without your action. They have help available to them over the phone or by email. So we really hope that we've provided a lot of ways that you can avoid being the person spending all that time addressing their concerns. So that support exists for you as well. It's available by phone and email and online in a set of help documentation. So hopefully we've really tried to design this to be as setup-free and as easy to set up, as time unintensive is what I'm trying to say, as possible. So at this point, I have said my entire spiel. Does anyone have any questions or anything that you'd like me to go back over that I might have gone too fast through? Again, the way to ask questions is to raise your hand with that up arrow hand in the GoToMeeting panel, or you can type your question into the questions box or the chat box. All right, well, at this point, those of you who do not have any questions, I want to say thank you very much for joining us today and taking time out of your day to watch the webinar. If you do think of any questions, please email me at steven.sachs@oup.com. I just typed that down into the chat if you want to grab it. And doing so reminded me, if you have not yet gotten demo access, I really encourage you to do so. Your demo account will allow you to go in, to play around with the exercises, to look at the configuration settings available to you, and to really get a feel for the platform. We are happy to set that up. It takes about 2 seconds. So if you would like to get demo access, please shoot me an email, or you can email your OUP representative if you know who that is. The other thing I failed to mention is if you choose to adopt Music Theory Skill Builder, what you should do is let us know, let your OUP representative or me know, and we will set you up with a full access course which will allow you to actually start customizing, setting things up if you wish to. And it will also make your course available in the registration site up here so that your students can start registering for the course.